She's starting a new job. She doesn't have a whole lot of income. I think that's just kind of setting you up for failure.
I don't want to get in trouble for that because
You're not going to.
I don't want him to hold it against me if I miss one.
I have two things here. One is a review hearing for essentially status of GAL. We also have a contempt hearing that was filed on November 8th. I did indicate I do want to take that matter because we were previously here on November 8th. I did indicate we'd move forward on the contempt motion today. We did just very recently on that date appoint the guardian ad litem, and then I reissued the restraining order temporarily through today's date. So let me first do this. I'll turn to Ms. Corey. Thank you for being here. Any updates you can give the court?
Yes. Thank you, Your Honor. This one has been a little slow getting out of the gate. I have not yet received intake back from Mr. James. I do have appointments later today with parties. I did receive Ms. O'Brien's hair follicle test. She was ordered to do UA, but she went ahead and apparently did a hair follicle test, and that's the 5-panel with extended opiates, and everything came back negative. So then I haven't yet seen any proof of her living in Cowlitz County be filed with the court. And also after I really hate to try to make a recommendation before I've actually spoken at length with the parties, but after reading the court documents that have been filed, I'm kind of wondering about a mental health evaluation for Ms. O'Brien.
Okay. I appreciate that input. Ms. O'Brien, we're going to start kind of step by step. Thank you for doing the hair follicle test. Very glad to hear that it was negative. Appreciate you doing that. I haven't seen proof yet that you're residing in Cowlitz County. Have you been able to come up with those documents?
So where I was staying when I first came back, I had to move. So I don't have anything that has proof of where I'm currently living until after I get my first paycheck.
Okay. Are you still in Cowlitz County?
Yeah.
And what is your current living situation? Are you living alone? Do you have roommates?
I'm living in my grandparents' house.
At your
them.
Parents?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you currently undergoing mental health treatment?
No, because I don't have health insurance currently.
Okay. I do think a mental health evaluation makes sense. Ms. Corey, are there, for someone without health insurance, what are the local options?
Boy, I don't know of any.
Okay. Ms. O'Brien, go ahead. Go ahead, Ms. Corey, sorry.
I'm not sure if you're on state medical.
I'm not, because my stepmom put my daughter on hers. So the state wants $300 a month for insurance. The state.
Okay.
And I can't afford that.
I don't know of any other alternatives.
Ms. O'Brien, at this new job, will you have health insurance?
Not until I've been there for 3 months.
Okay. Well, it sounds like maybe I think a mental health evaluation makes a lot of sense in the long term here. Maybe I'll hold off right now, just if I order it now and it's not even a possibility for you. I think that's just kind of setting you up for failure. But I do appreciate the recommendation, and I would like to revisit that when we can. Let me ask Mr. James, what is your request today? I guess knowing that Ms. O'Brien is living with her grandparents, are you still requesting that a restraining order remain in place? I don't know if you're familiar with her grandparents, if that's a source of concern for you.
I would like to request one until we could get a little more leeway on that mental health, now that I know that she passed her drug screen.
I just want to know if I can get visitation at my parents' house, like supervised with them.
Like with your grandparents there?
No, at my parents' house, which is close to where Brandon lives, with my parents present.
I think I would like to address that after Ms. Corey's had time to talk to a few more folks about this. I mean, again, she's so recently appointed. I would want to make sure that that is a safe place for her. So my recommendation, especially given the time constraints we have here today, would be to have you all come back in 30 days. I will reissue the temporary restraining order just for that time period. And then we'll come back in 30 days and have more input between the parties and Ms. Corey. And Ms. Corey, maybe, since it sounds like the request might be supervised visitation with the parents, maybe we could get some input on your opinion about the minor child's grandparents, I guess, and whether that feels like a safe supervised visitation plan.
Okay. And there is a interim hearing already scheduled. I believe it's January 3rd.
That would be the date I would set this anyway.
Yes.
So why don't we go ahead and keep that date and just set you all over to that date? I do want to briefly address the contempt motion though, because I know that's been hanging out there for quite some time. When I look at this case, in order for me to find contempt, I would need to find that there was kind of willful behavior that the petitioner, well, in the overall matter, but respondent on the contempt issue, Ms. O'Brien, was willful to follow the order, but was just refusing to do so. And I think what's much more likely in this case is that Ms. O'Brien is in a situation with a lot of life circumstances where she's probably to do the best that she could. So I don't think that I can find under these circumstances that she's willfully refusing to follow a parenting plan the minute that it was filed. More likely than not, but again, I haven't seen proof of this, she relocated back into Cowlitz County because she's stating she's living with her grandparents. I'm assuming that that is true. She's starting a new job. She doesn't have a whole lot of income. So I am today going to deny the contempt motion. I am going to reissue the temporary restraining order through the date of our next hearing, 1/3/2024 at 9 a.m. And then I would like at the next hearing to discuss supervised visitation and whether amending or dropping the restraining order to accomplish supervised visitation makes sense, especially in light of the hair follicle test being negative. Does that work for the parties?
Yes, Your
It just
Honor.
makes it really difficult with my schedule.
Your Honor, I talked to Miss O'Brien the other day, and we came to terms on when to FaceTime.
Okay.
She has told me her schedule. She's 3 on, 3 off.
Can change though, because of
Ms. O'Brien,
holidays.
please let him finish. Don't interrupt. Mr. James, go ahead.
She's told me that she works 3 days on, 3 days off. And when she does work, that she works from 6 to 6, and that she only lives a couple miles away from her work. So I don't see how it could be difficult to get the FaceTime visitations.
And I guess, am I being asked to change the types of the FaceTime visits, or Ms. O'Brien, what's the issue?
It's just with holidays, my schedule is a little different at the end, so it makes it difficult to be able to communicate with him if it would need to be rescheduled.
So in the written order, I indicate that video calls between mother and child are allowed.
Yeah. So I can't communicate with him if something came up where like I had to work an extra day, or if my schedule changes for some reason, because it can. I work in healthcare, so I can't. So if I missed a FaceTime, I don't want to get in trouble for that, because
you're not going
to. I don't want him to hold it against me if I miss one.
It's not going to be held against you if you miss a FaceTime call because you're working. Absolutely not. I'm not concerned about that.
I still want that extra FaceTime because like I only get 3 a week. That's all he allows. So if I miss that one, then they'll cut it down to 3 because I was at work.
Your Honor, can I make a suggestion?
Absolutely.
Can I suggest that the parties use one of the co-parenting applications and that be allowed under this continuing restraining order so that there can be some contact regarding the visitation?
Well, Yeah, I mean, I guess I think Ms.
Well,
O'Brien,
because
Ms. O'Brien,
working in
finish. Stop. My oral ruling was that FaceTime video chats with child were allowed up to 10 minutes every day. I didn't set a specific time.
yeah,
I'm not indicating it's only 3 times a week. I'm not anything. And inherent in the two of you working together is Mr. James. I expect that you make the child available when Ms. O'Brien is available. She's entitled to those 10 minutes a day with her child over FaceTime. So I'm not going to add anything extra right now. I expect you both to work together to make that happen. And it
but
absolutely.
if we can't have contact with each other, how are we supposed to make that happen?
Your Honor, let the record show that there's been times where Miss O'Brien has missed the FaceTimes, and there's been times where I've called 2-3 times a night, just so she does get that time with our daughter.
It's happened once.
It's happened a couple times.
Okay, so here's what's happening is I'm trying to issue a decision. The two of you are talking over me. We're not going to do that. I am telling you that my ruling is there are FaceTime video chats with child up to 10 minutes per day. Mr. James, you need to make sure that works with her work schedule. Ms. O'Brien, if you miss one because you ended up working and by the time you called back, the child was asleep, nobody's going to hold that against you. This is your right. You have the right to have the FaceTime calls. It's not something that's going to be used punitively against you if your schedule doesn't allow it. But Mr. James, incumbent upon you, because you are the one requesting a restraining order and taking on the obligations of the child right now, you absolutely need to, and sometimes it will you be going out of your way to make it happen. But that absolutely is your responsibility right now as the custodial and residential parent, is to make sure that the child is staying connected with BioMom. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
So I will reissue the restraining order just through January 3rd, 2024. We'll revisit that issue. Please, both parties use good faith efforts to make those video calls happen. I think it's very important that this child sees and stays connected with BioMom through this tumultuous process for all 3 of you. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Thank you all. We'll see you back on January 3rd. I will do the restraining order. I'll issue the denial on the contempt. Okay. You're free to log out. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.